This is poppies that I've sown in this raised bed, and as you can see, I've sown them too thick. I actually tripped and dumped about a whole package right there in that spot. But anyhow, I'm gonna transplant some of these. They say it can't be done, but I've got to thin it, so when I thin, I'm just gonna try to transplant them, so maybe I'll have a lot of nice plants to plant someplace else. I've pre-filled these little cups here in the greenhouse, and I've already pre-punched my holes, and now I'm going out to the garden to dig up a chunk of those poppies that are too thick. When trying to separate these poppies, I try to do it gently, just knock some dirt off. And if I ever pull on them and I feel a snap, I'll just go ahead and throw that one away, because I've broken the main root. And these do have like one long straight taproot starting out. I've noticed on small seedlings, whenever you're planting them or they're just in your cup, this little piece right here, it's very important that it's covered with soil. I've had little seedlings just sitting there not growing, and when I took the time to cover that up to this bottom set of leaves, it just took off growing. I'm going to water each one of these in very carefully and try to make sure that it sets up straight. I'm going to hang on to the leaf while the soil settles, and that usually does it. Then I'm going to make sure that there's enough soil around it. See how that one's leaning? I'm going to straighten it up and water it in. And that soil just goes down and locks it. Now I can see that little piece of whatever that is between the root and the first seed showing. So I'm going to cover that up. But I'll just do this whole tray like that. You can just see how the soil sets down around the plant and kind of locks it in. This is the way that I transplant most flowers that have come up in the garden. I'll dig them up and bring them and pot them up and keep them in the shade and let them get used to that shock, and so they don't have the stress of the sunshine just burning them. But I'll keep these inside for about a week or so. I'm just going to set them here on the floor inside my greenhouse so that they won't be in the hot boiling sun. This greenhouse kind of diffuses the light, and I can tuck them up underneath the table if the sun looks like it's going to be too hot on them. But we'll see if I'm successful. They say that you usually can't transplant poppies, but I think a lot of people maybe just try to do that right out in the garden, and the sunlight's too much for them. This is where I sowed my poppies too thick. And yesterday I dug some up and transplanted them and took them in the greenhouse, and this morning they look fine. I think it's the bright, hot sunshine that makes them wilt, and we're fixing to have rain. It should be overcast all day. If this is morning, and I'm fixing to try and transplant some of these. I think I actually, with my water hose, I hit that, and I think I just washed those up when they were really small. So I'm going to try to transplant around and space these out some. Now I'm going to water them in, and this is the most gentle watering can I have. This is one of the grandbabies, one of their old watering cans, and I'm actually looking for a good watering can. If y'all know one that has a real good gentle spray, let me know. We're expecting some bad weather, so I put this rack on here, and I'm going to put my frost cloth over it. I've watered it really good and seeded in all the new poppies that I just transplanted, and this will keep, in case we get a bunch of rain, from just beating these down. This is poppy seedlings that I transplanted from my garden 3 days ago. I think I'm going to be successful. I've transplanted all these poppies, and they all look good except for this one right here. And see how that little piece is out of the soil below that bottom leaf? That's very critical. A lot of plants don't like that, so I'm fixing to dig him up and put him down lower so that that's covered. This is a poppy bed update, and you can see there it's pretty big, but I don't see any buds yet. I'm worried that they're too close, so not going to have any flowers. This is lettuce on the back. This is where we usually plant our tomatoes, and I was afraid my husband would fuss me for planting flowers in the tomato bed, so I tried to save space. But this is the bed number 2, I'm calling it, with lettuce in it, and it is so thick. And then this is the other bed with poppies, my hand for size. But some of these, it's got some perennials in there too. I think this is delphiniums here, and there's a lupin, maybe a hollyhock, but it's just solid flowers, and I hope they bloom. Thanks so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.